Welcome to Capital Update with State Representative Bev Scalze. I'm Charlie Vanderetti. Welcome to the show, Representative.
Nice to be here with you again, Charlie.
It's a busy time of session. We're about 3 weeks before we adjourn on May 23rd.
Yes.
And trying to focus on the budget, although it seems that we're moving a little slow this week on budget issues. How would you describe the pace of session and the priorities right now?
We're just treading water, and we're spending a lot of time in committee till late at night, early in the morning till late at night, and over the weekends, because the House has passed the bills, the finance bills, the Senate has passed the finance bills, and then the process is that they work together to make the bills the same.
Okay.
And then the typical process is that after they do that, then they're passed again by the House and Senate and sent to the governor to either sign or veto. But for some reason, the conference committees haven't been meeting this year, and I just don't know what the problem is. I suspect the problem is that they can't come up with enough money. And from what I understand from our House nonpartisan Finance Department and the Revenue Department, we're a little over $1 billion short. And some of the numbers were given by outside consultants who have decided not to come in and meet with the state departments to make sure those numbers are right. So some of the people in the majority party are booking the savings that can't be verified by the state departments. And we need to have it verified. Otherwise, we don't want to end up with, at the end of 2 years, with money owing and we have no way to come up with it.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't have the balanced budget at that point, would you?
Right. We have to balance it by May 23rd this year because the next biennium starts 1st of July.
Now, I looked back and did a little research on historically where we've been at this point in session. We're at the first week in May, and in 2007, when the DFL was in the majority, it looked like you had passed bills, had the conference committees, and presented them to the governor for his consideration. And we're a little behind that point, it seems like, right now.
We are, and from what I hear in the media is that they're waiting for the governor to go to the conference committee, which is not typically the way it's worked here. Typically, the governor either passes or vetoes, either signs or vetoes the bills. There's a lot of cuts that have to be made this year, and somebody's going to have to own those cuts. And I think some of the majority party would like to have the governor own those cuts, but it's their job. The leaders of the House and Senate have to present the budget.
So this is the budget year, but you talked
Yes.
about all the policy committees and how busy you've been meeting there and doing other things rather than the budget. What are some of the issues that you've been talking about in committee? I know you're on the Elections Committee, the Jobs Committee. What have you been talking about?
We've been talking about mostly divisive issues. We've been working on photo voter ID for the 80% of people who do in-person voting. I mean, 20% of the people vote by absentee ballot. So this only affects 80% of the people, which is a problem right there because we're creating two classes of voters, and that's a no-no with the federal Constitution. So that's one thing. There's abortion bills going on, standing your ground, a gun bill where you can shoot someone if you think that you're being threatened, whether it be in your car or your boat or your cabin or your camper or your tent. I don't know, I haven't heard that bill in the committee. But we're also hearing amendment proposals for same-sex marriage amendment. We're hearing bills for the Viking Stadium. And then there's a lot of talk about gambling expansion. That's coming to my Jobs Committee, not tomorrow, but sometime this week.
Okay.
Expanding gambling. There's a real need for more revenue this year, and I think they're looking for gambling.
Well, you talked about the Jobs Committee, and one of the topics being discussed is prevailing wage. Can you describe to some of the listeners what that policy is?
Yes, it's if the state has lets a contract for, say, a highway or any other type of building, you have to pay the prevailing wage of what's typically paid in that area. And it's considered a union issue, and so that's why the majority party is maybe trying to whittle away at it. There's a lot of whittling away at some of the things that we've typically been used to in state government. There's a lot of that happening this year.
Interesting. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, so we'll try and catch up with you on these topics next time.
Great.
Your contact information will be on the screen for listeners who want to, share their comments and thoughts with you as well.
Wonderful.
Okay. This has been Capital Update with State Representative Bev Scalze.